What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to talk to you about Palantir. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on why it is lagging a little bit today, and the latest in analyst ratings. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Palantir is up 0.58%, 115 the low, 120 the high. Today the market is absolutely booming because of this. I'm sure everyone knows this at this stage in the game, but the US and China did come to some resolution for the next 90 days to both drop their tariffs by 115%. So this is causing a little bit of a rotation, and you can kind of see that since Palantir is lagging, and plus at the same time it's getting rather low volume. So 84 million shares being traded, 113 is the average. It goes to show that big money is buying other stocks that could be maybe seen as value stocks at this stage in the game. So nothing really wrong with Palantir today. If anything, it actually got the highest rating from an analyst ever, but it's just, I think it's just lagging a little bit, and nothing wrong with that. So I think this is just a one-off type of day. And in reality, Palantir is a absolute beast, because even in times of kind of distress, Palantir still manages to go from -8% to like +1%. It's a beast, and I think it's kind of comical. So I actually did bring up Palantir in my pre-market video because you did see shorts recently increase, and I've brought this up in the past. So Palantir right now, shorts are increasing 325,000 shares, 2.54% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 55.23 million shares. But in the past, when shorts basically have felt that it was a sure thing to double down and really increase against Palantir, they get their asses handed to them. So time and time again, they feel very confident, double down, then they lose. Double down, lose. And recently, they went from about 2.31% to now 2.52%. And then, of course, this news comes out. So it is rather comical on how this all does play out. But I think at the end of the day, this is one attributing factor why Palantir has really maintained the levels that they have, because shorts kind of know better to bet against Palantir. Even though you have a lot of big names out there saying that Palantir shouldn't have these multiples that it currently does, nobody's brave enough to bet against it. So very unique circumstance that is kind of playing out. But nonetheless, though, going over some data points, latest in analyst ratings, you did have the new highest rating ever for Palantir, and that was Bank of America. Analyst has a 72% success rating, so Mariana, and $150 buy rating. And so previously, I believe it was 140 or 145. But most likely you'll have Daniel Ives, which he did give a rating of 140. That was due to their earnings, but he's obviously the poster boy of Palantir. He can't get shown up, so most likely he's going to, I would anticipate in the next 2 weeks at least, to re-raise his target to probably 150 or maybe 155. We'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, from their most recent earnings, it still goes to show that Wall Street is torn on Palantir. Some still feel that 60 is kind of fair, and that was Jefferies Brent, who has a 63% success rating. So it's not like these analysts don't know what they're talking about. It's just they are focused on the fundamentals, and I feel like Palantir is such an innovative stock that it is kind of defying a lot of logic that a lot of these analysts probably learned and kind of grew up with. So at the end of the day, it is still comical, and no matter what though, even with shorts increasing a small amount, I really feel that Palantir is a beast, and it is ready to really move higher. As I mentioned in my last video, when it was at, I believe, $90 or $89, I said going into earnings, it was going to be at roughly $126. Got to, I think, 124-ish. So kind of very interesting. This is why I like to look at a lot of the data points. And for those of you that follow my Palantir videos, you know it's been like on point. Even when Daniel Ives only had a 90 price target, I said 125 was coming. It hit 124 something as far as a high. So this is why I think Palantir is a beast of a stock, and institutions absolutely love it. Based on just quarter over quarter, institutions increased their position by 24.27%. That is exactly the type of stock that retail needs to be buying. I see a lot of retail really just being somewhat pessimistic on Palantir, just again bringing up, hey, it's like, look at the multiples, it doesn't make sense, because right now the PE is 201.54. And so again, for face value, if you're just seeing that, then yeah, you'd be screaming at the top of the mountain saying Palantir is just overdone. But there's a lot more to it than just looking at this, especially innovative companies such as Palantir. But aside from all that, and enough of me ranting, looking at the options, 249 million in calls, 89 million in puts. 49% of all the options being done today are bearish in nature. Of the bulls, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 130 mark for this week. Bears are anticipating, for the most part, for it to be roughly around that 105. So definitely still a lot more upside is anticipated. Like I said at the beginning, institutions, they're not selling Palantir, but they're not buying it in the same magnitude as they once were. So these are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So you have some pockets of selling, but for the most part, a lot of buying still occurring behind the scenes. But aside from that, with it at 118 and change, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 121 is going to be that key point for it to really get over. And during the pre-market, it actually was above that. So this is why it is kind of unique and unusual for Palantir to lag at this magnitude. But at the end of the day, 133 and then 153 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. On the actual chart itself, though, let's kind of pop over here and go over that. So I do have the 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages, ALMA, and then stochastic RSI. So on the actual chart, this is pretty much the exact same thing as what happened in February when it just went up like crazy. So currently it is above all the key fib levels and moving averages that I generally like to look at. It is above the ALMA, even looking at stochastic RSI, because of what did happen on the 6th and the 7th of May caused kind of the stochastic RSI to somewhat reset itself. So it's not actually overbought, meaning given all the circumstances, it can still move up quite significantly. So I have brought up in the past that based on the Elliott wave technicals, it's anticipated at least to get between that 130 and 140. So big things might be coming down the pipeline. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think that is feasible for it to be between that kind of 130, 145 range? Or do you think that we are going to be going lower from here? What's your general thoughts on all of that? And what's your viewpoint on that new 150 price target? Do you think that's just the tip of the iceberg, or do you think that's kind of too high? Every single video, Palantir video that I've always done, I've had a lot of individuals just outright bring up exactly what I said. Looking at the multiples, it's just too overdone. But I feel like a lot of individuals don't really kind of have what it takes to really put their money where their mouth is and bet against it. Because history, if it does repeat itself, shorts have lost billions upon billions of dollars trying to short Palantir. So let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been exactly on point and definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. Link in the description below and also comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.